New month, a lot of developments happening at the state and federal level that impact your everyday life. And we're happy to welcome back Governor Josh Green into studio to talk about it all. Always nice to have you on the program.
Thank you.
All right, well, we had a chance to talk a little bit about Lilo and Stitch, which leads to some breaking news that we're happy to be able to tell our viewers here.
Sure. So first off, congratulations to the producer of that movie. It's fantastic. My kids loved it. I'm going to veto House Bill 796. That is the bill that would have taken away tax credits, not just for film, but also for things like solar. And so I've got a lot of feedback, even a lot of feedback from within the legislature. So that's likely one that will end up getting vetoed. So we can move forward with the film industry. We have to support it.
I know a lot of the producers were upset about that one, so that's something we'll be following, and we asked if you could stay for that. I also want to touch on TMT. We heard about that in the federal funding cuts and the fate of that perhaps going away.
Yeah, that's a big concern. You know, there's a lot of cuts going on at the federal level, as you just heard, for example, for meteorologic capture. In other words, whether or not we can capture when storms are going to hit and so on. But cutting the National Science Foundation dollars for the 30-meter telescope, because they may only fund one of the two major telescope projects, would put our program in deep peril. We will have to still see whether or not our congressional delegation, which is excellent, can get monies like that put back into the budget, but that puts a lot of pressure on them. It would be better if the federal government supported, in general, science.
Let's talk about tourism. We touched on the film industry, but how about the Rams and sports tourism and the opportunities with Maui?
Yeah, I went and made a deal with the Rams to have them bring their mini camp here. They love Maui. It turns out they're going to bring, I think, about 500 people. Wow. And that will mean additional, tourism, additional dollars, additional excitement for young people. I committed myself to one NFC team because the Steelers are in my heart, but having the Rams here is going to be great. And they've been very generous with us, especially when we recovered and have been recovering on Maui. They produced a lot of resources, donated a lot of money to help us rebuild housing. So it's a great relationship. And I want to do more of that, more sports tourism. We're going to begin to demolish the stadium this fall, and then we begin to build the new stadium with the first $350 million that we'll have for the stadium to go up. I'm still seeking additional resources to make it a bigger stadium. So lots of positives.
Let's talk about HTA. They've been under flap a lot. So tell me about how the transition and how you're going to work together now as a state.
First, I like Todd Apo very much. He came in recently as the chair. I mean, I like all of the people there, but there was a lot of conflict. And so I'm going to kind of quiet that conflict down. I passed a bill very quietly, or signed a bill, a great bill from the legislature to make the Hawaii Tourism Authority just advisory to the governor, so they can't be in conflict as much. They've been fighting too much. There were factions that had developed, and that's just not in Hawaii's interest. So now it's going to be advisory, and that advisory council will help me pick the next director, because also we've had a departure of some of the leadership. I have an idea of who that should be going forward, so we'll work together.
Let's talk about the Hawaii State Fair, such a summer tradition here, and due to Aloha Stadium and not having a home for it, anything that you see in the future?
Well, the Hawaii State Fair has tended to be more of a city function, but fairs, free events outside, movies on the beach, those things are great. And so we want to continue to support them. That's one of the additional reasons why we have to get the new stadium project kind of up, done, completed. It's also a reason that we want to move forward as a state. We don't want to go back and have to shrink our footprint on stadiums, shrink our footprint on entertainment. Things are very expensive. Affordability has been our biggest problem. That's why we had the big tax breaks. We need to have these kind of events for the purpose of positive engagement. You have noticed that people are coming back. The kids are coming back because we got, like I said, taxes down, some new opportunities, building some new housing, but we have to keep that momentum.
Before you have to say aloha to you, I want to say best of luck on the Hawaii on the Hill. I know your first time going there.
Yeah, I've never been there before. I'm going, and the family and I had planned a vacation. We have a summer vacation, so on my own dime, I'm going to stop in DC. I wanted to point that out because I know some people are sensitive about that. So pay for my own trip and stop in, see a couple of them, support the congressional delegation. I will also be meeting with a lot of Congress people, and I will stop in at the Department of Health and Human Services to talk to Mr. Oz, or Dr. Oz, I should say, to talk about Medicaid cuts, because I'm going to push very hard against Medicaid cuts. Medicaid cuts could devastate our rural healthcare system and hospitals all across America, and of course, including in rural Hawaii. So I'm uniquely positioned to talk about that, having worked in rural hospitals in our country. So I'm going to push very hard. But yeah, on my own dime, I'm going to stop in on the way to family vacation, and I think that we can make some major improvements for people coming to Hawaii.